Tonight, reaction in Saskatchewan from a mass shooting in northern BC. A major AI data complex could be setting up near Regina. A man saves his mother from a moose attack.
Live from our studios in Regina, this is CTV News.
Good evening. The thoughts of an entire country are with the town of Tumbler Ridge, BC, dealing with a terrible tragedy. What we know right now is at least 9 people are dead, including the shooter, after a mass shooting that ended at a secondary school. RCMP have released few details, but they did identify the shooter as Jesse Strang, an 18-year-old that identifies as a woman but was born a biological male. 6 victims were found inside the school dead, along with Strang, who was killed with a self-inflicted gunshot. 2 more were found dead inside a home. Now, the only victims identified right now are the shooter's mother, Jennifer, and a sibling, Emmett. Now, in Saskatchewan, Premier Scott Moe called news of the shooting horrifying, adding, quote, "Our prayers are with the families of the victims, those injured, and everyone in the community." Meanwhile, Dene High School in LaLoche posted a message as well, only weeks after marking 10 years since its own deadly shooting in 2016. The message said, "Our hearts and prayers go out to the victims, families, community members, and school staff. We stand with them in solidarity." Also today, flags at city halls in Regina and Saskatoon, along with the Saskatchewan Legislative Building, flying at half-mast in line with federal buildings across the country to remember the lives lost. We will have more on this tragedy coming up a little later on in the show. Meanwhile, locally, 4 people are facing drug charges after a 5-month investigation led to the seizure of about $650,000 worth of drugs. The investigation involved the Regina Police Service, Saskatoon Police Service, and Brandon Police Service. On February the 7th, 4 search warrants were executed. 2 were in Regina, 1 in Davidson, and 1 in Brandon, Manitoba. In total, police found more than 5,000 grams of cocaine, a little more than 1,000 grams of fentanyl, 183 grams of methamphetamine, and a little more than $25,000 in cash. A 55-year-old from Regina, a 54-year-old from Moosomin, a 56-year-old from Stockholm, and a 43-year-old from Edmonton, Alberta are facing multiple drug charges and have all appeared in Regina Provincial Court. That happened on February the 9th. A Watrous man is facing child exploitation charges. Police say investigators with the Saskatchewan Internet Child Exploitation Unit searched a home in Watrous on December the 10th, seizing electronic devices. Yesterday, 68-year-old Miles Dittner was charged with 2 counts of possessing child sexual abuse and exploitation material. An excavation company has been fined after a worker was seriously injured more than 3.5 years ago. On June 28, 2022, the province said an employee of 777 Excavating Limited was injured when a trench collapsed in the RM of Parkdale north of the Battlefords. The company was then charged with 3 offenses under Saskatchewan's occupational health and safety regulations. 1 was stayed. As a result, 777 Excavation was fined just a little more than $55,000, which included a victim surcharge. A major AI data center campus is being proposed for the Regina area. The RM of Sherwood has received a rezoning request for a quarter section of land located near Saskatchewan Polytechnic. As Wayne Mantika tells us, the project has the potential of creating hundreds of high-tech jobs.
This quarter section of farmland just outside Regina city limits could become the site of a major AI data center. It's located about 1 kilometer south of the Sask Polytechnic campus. The request to rezone the property for a data center campus has been filed with the RM of Sherwood. The application comes from a numbered company with letters of support saying it is part of the Bell AI Fabric project announced in 2025. Bell is the parent company of CTV News. According to documents filed with the RM, the project would be built in stages, consisting of multiple low-rise buildings totaling 500,000 square feet. feet. The application states that the facilities will support universities, healthcare, public sector services, and Canadian businesses with secure made-in-Canada computing capacity, helping to keep sensitive data and innovation within the country. Both Sask Polytech and the University of Regina see partnership opportunities, while the City of Regina views it as economic development.
I think it's a very exciting opportunity, and I know those types of, just coming from some of that area, I know the location can be very specific to the utilities and those types of things that are required, but I see it as an exciting thing nearby.
The proposal calls for creation of 300-plus parking stalls, which suggests a large high-tech workforce. The application calls for work to begin later this year. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, Regina.
A recent image of Saskatoon's St. Paul's Hospital is raising concerns regarding overcrowding in Saskatchewan hospitals. Now, the picture shows portable beds occupying a part of the hospital previously used for addictions treatment registration and a section which is still used for rapid access addictions medicine registration and outpatient services. The NDP says areas like the ones pictured are not equipped to handle patient care.
This is becoming a pattern in our largest hospitals. For months, we've seen horrific images of hallway healthcare circulating in the media and online. Some videos have even gone viral, receiving thousands and thousands of views.
Now, in a statement to CTV News, the Saskatchewan Health Authority says that the hospital saw an increased demand for emergency services this week, and the additional space was equipped with appropriate supplies. Sabine joins us for our first look at weather as we continue these above seasonal temperatures. But how much longer are we going to go through this? It's going to go forever, right?
Why don't we talk about how things were looking today, and I'll maybe fill you in on what's coming in just a little bit, Lee. So let's focus on today, shall we? The Queen City warmed up very nicely to about 5 degrees today, and that's obviously much cooler, or much warmer, excuse me, than what our average daytime high is for this time of year. So if we take a look at our almanac, you can see late this afternoon, 4.9 was what we warmed up to. The average is still well below zero at about -7. So that is something to be happy about. The sunshine that we had in our day was something to be happy about, minus some of the fog advisories we saw in the morning. Heading into tomorrow, we're going to continue to see those above seasonal temperatures. As you can see on the radar satellite, not a whole lot to show you when it comes to active weather, and even current temperatures looking very nicely above zero. Now, before we get to our main forecast, I'll just leave you with one question, Lee, or actually one statement. I hope you didn't put your snow shovel away. I'll have more in your full forecast.
I think we all know what's coming. Well, February, usually one of the coldest months of the year in Saskatchewan anyway, but these above seasonal temperatures to start the month is causing issues with annual winter events in the southern part of the province. Mick Favel tells us more.
With Free Fishing Weekend set to begin in a few days, a number of events were scheduled, but due to the warm weather, ice conditions have become a factor, leaving organizers no choice but to cancel.
We made the call last Thursday because the water had been running down this trail that goes down to the ice and stuff, and then actually there was one crack, and it had created a small hole right there, so we just kind of backed away from it.
A fishing tournament at Thompson Lake has also been called off by the Gravelbourg Fire Department. In a statement to CTV News, they said, current conditions have resulted in ice that is not suitable for a safe, family-friendly event. Safety is our top priority. We cannot in good conscience host an event where ice conditions may put participants at risk. So far in 2026, the weather in southern Saskatchewan has been a roller coaster ride, alternating the coldest winter days with spring-like temperatures.
This winter has been fairly extreme in the sense that, we saw some record-breaking overnight lows in January, and then some record-breaking daytime highs in February. So it's a bit on the extreme end of both sides of things.
Although ice fishing events are being called off, there are still some suitable conditions to fish in throughout the province. Experts say it is always good to check the ice.
You work your way out, you test the ice. If it's breaking up in front of you, you obviously don't go out. You check your way out, cut holes, measure the ice if you're not sure, and just always use caution on the ice no matter what the weather.
According to Environment and Climate Change Canada, temperatures are supposed to get back to seasonal in a week's time. Mick Favel, CTV News, Regina.
Well, living in wide open Saskatchewan, running into wildlife is not a rare occurrence, from deer on the roads to maybe coyotes on the fields. But one man had to take matters into his own hands when he saw a moose threatening his mother. Jacob Carr has the story and a warning that some of the images and details in this story are graphic in nature.
It's not every day that one comes across a moose in their own backyard, but that's what happened to Sean Tufnell when his mother Angie was attacked by the animal on her acreage near Beanfate.
First thing I could think of, get it away from her, because they just start stomping and then you're screwed. So I yelled twice and it just turned, pinned its head at me. I didn't think it was going to run away, but it was worth a try. So I screamed pretty loud and big, and then, yeah, it just pinned his ears back and looked right at me and kind of shuffled towards me.
Tufnell describes having to punch the moose to get it off of his mother, then hitting it with a shovel, eventually shooting and killing it. Lyle McGilvery, a Saskatchewan wildlife photographer known in many circles as the Moose Whisperer, says he has never been attacked by one, but knows how terrifying they can be up close.
That had to be a terrible, frightening scene for both of them. I couldn't imagine having a 1,000-pound moose or a 1,200-pound moose standing over top of you, and those front feet is really detrimental. Like when they reach out with those front feet, they cause a lot of damage.
Both Tufnell and his mother were injured in the attack, Angie requiring stitches in her right calf, while he has been dealing with cracked ribs. Tufnell says while he has not suffered any trauma, his mother has not fared as well.
For me, there's no trauma there. Just I seen her in trouble, and it doesn't matter who it is. That's just how it is for my brain, I guess. But she was pretty traumatized. Like, anytime she's outside, she's pretty worried. Like, she's still pretty scared, but she's doing really good now. So it was a toll on her for sure.
The Canadian Wildlife Health Cooperative says it has examined the adult male moose, and it was in very poor condition. The investigation is ongoing, but tests for rabies and chronic wasting disease have come back negative. Jacob Carr, CTV News, Regina.
The Hospitals of Regina Foundation has unveiled their Spring Home Lottery show home, and for the first time ever, it's located in Emerald Park, just east of Regina. The $1.8 million show home is the most valuable prize in the history of the lottery. The 4,500 square foot home features 4 bedrooms and a triple garage. The winner will also receive $50,000 in cash to take care of property taxes and anything else that they might need. The money raised from the lottery will go to support a wide variety of healthcare needs in maternal health, pediatrics, and the NICU, along with revolutionary new technology that allows less invasive and more effective brain surgery.
We try very much to make a house, a show home that shows like a show home but feels like a home, and it's a bit of a balance, and I'll say that Rippling Homes has done a great job of finding that balance and that line, but ultimately it's about the wow factor. We want people to come in and say, yeah, this is a great show home.
This is the 60th home lottery since it began in 1987. To date, $69.5 million has been raised for home lotteries to support health care in Regina. Still ahead, more on the mass shooting in Tumbler Ridge, BC. And a star of Dawson's Creek, James Vanderbeek, loses his life to cancer. The city of Regina has a pressing question. It needs to expand, but in what direction? And where will they get the money to do it? As Donovan Mace tells us, changes proposed to the community's plan were up for debate at Executive Committee today.
The city is changing its mindset in how it plans to grow.
Growth does not pay for growth anymore. Growth is actually, it costs us to grow. We're shifting away from that now.
New statistics provided by administration to Executive Committee Wednesday show Regina is outpacing growth timelines set more than a decade ago. Originally, a plan to have 300,000 people living in the city by 2040, and now it's changing its target as those projections are now sooner.
To 2051, when Regina is forecast to reach a population of 370,000 residents, an increase of 136,000 people compared to the most recent census.
Needing more than 50,000 housing units to facilitate its growing population, the strain on infrastructure is reaching critical levels.
Wastewater to be our biggest restriction in terms of growth, which is I think something that we've all known for quite a while, but what it also did was identify several projects to help alleviate that.
With developers champing at the bit to get shovels in the ground.
Our timing would put that 30 years or more before we would be permitted, given that there wouldn't be a sewer there.
Bashinsky hopes a data-driven approach ends a cycle of political decisions, which he says is the reason behind the problems Regina has now.
This flips the script on that. This actually goes from a infrastructure availability or service availability perspective. So it's completely changed the way we look at it. It's a much more calculated approach.
Donovan May, CTV News, Regina.
All right, back to our top story. 9 people, including the shooter, dead after a school shooting yesterday afternoon in Tumbler Ridge, BC, a small town in the northern part of the province. As Andrew Johnson tells us, we're getting a clearer picture now of the lives lost as new details emerge about the victims, many of them children.
A heartbreaking symbol of a tight-knit community in mourning.
This is a deeply distressing incident.
Shortly after 1:20 local time Tuesday, an alert was sent out to residents warning an active shooter may be in the community. The RCMP say they rushed to Tumbler Ridge Secondary School, where at least 25 people were found injured. 6 others, a 39-year-old female educator, 3 female 12-year-old students, and 2 male students ages 12 and 13 were found dead inside the school of just 160 students.
Families are just mourning in their own way. Everybody has their own way of expressing remorse and grief, and we give them their comfort zone.
Police say the suspect, who was found at the school dead of an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound, was 18-year-old Jesse Van Rootselaar, a resident of Tumbler Ridge. The suspect's 39-year-old mother, Jennifer Strang, and 11-year-old stepbrother, Emmett, were found dead at the suspect's home.
Well, we don't have an idea yet as to motive. And again, recognizing we're still less than 24 hours into this incident, it is something that we are certainly passionately pursuing, but it would be too early to speculate on motive.
Andrew Johnson, CTV News, Tumbler Ridge, BC.
Now, while family and community members mourn the victims, the investigation is ramping up into the suspected shooter. Kathy Lee is also in Tumbler Ridge as authorities try to determine that possible motive.
Police say 18-year-old Jesse Van Rootselaar had dropped out of school 4 years ago and was known to police.
I can say that Jesse was born as a biological male who approximately, the information that I have, approximately 6 years ago began to transition to female and identified as female. Police had attended that residence on multiple occasions over the past several years, dealing with concerns of mental health.
Investigators are still working on 2 crime scenes, the school and the family home.
2 firearms, a long gun and a modified handgun, were recovered by responding officers. Determining the origin of these firearms and what role they played in the shootings remains a significant part of the active and ongoing investigation.
Without a known motive or a suspect to question, investigators will have to conduct interviews with family and friends to see if there were any signs or clues that Van Rootselaar was preparing to carry out something like this.
Quite often people say things and others think, oh, he doesn't really mean it. And then when this happens, they realize he did. Because they don't always come forward and report what friends say.
Any and all social media posts will likely be scanned, making sure no stone is left unturned.
It could be in school counseling, all different sorts of things that could give them that one little piece of information that says this could be why it happened.
Kathy Lee, CTV News, Tumbler Ridge, BC.
The Prime Minister canceled his trip to the Munich Security Conference in Germany to be in Canada to deal with any aftermath from the mass shooting. In the House of Commons, MPs visibly shaken by the tragedy. Judy Trin has more.
The maple leaf at half-mast, a pall over Parliament after the school shooting in Tumbler Ridge.
Parents, grandparents, brothers, sisters began this day as their first day on earth without someone they love dearly. What happened has left our nation in shock.
The tragedy was marked by a moment of silence in the House of Commons, and the grief was felt across party lines.
As a father, I can't even imagine the phone calls that
parents might have received. I can't imagine the heartache and hell that they're living through.
MPs are grappling with how the scale of the tragedy will be magnified in a town of 2,400 people.
This violence unfolded at a school, a place meant to nurture and protect our children.
For some, it brings back painful memories. In small-town Saskatchewan, a decade ago, a teenage gunman killed 4 people in La Loche. Buckley Belanger was a provincial politician at the time.
The community is going to have a tough time moving forward. A lot of questions, but powerful emotions that they're going through right now.
For others, the scourge of gun violence is felt deeper today. Just hours after the mass murder in BC, another tragedy unfolded in Quebec. On Kitigan-Zibi First Nation, a father killed his 2 children, then shot himself.
To lose 2 children like that is just an unbelievable thing.
A mass shooting is an incident where 3 or more people are shot. According to Statistics Canada data, since the year 2000, there have been 80 mass shootings in Canada. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
The U.S. House of Representatives is voting this evening on a measure that would remove Donald Trump's legal justification for tariffs against Canada. Analysts expect several Republicans to vote against their party's leadership.
We are seeing growing opposition from within Donald Trump's own party about these tariffs, specifically as it relates to Canada, that many lawmakers simply believe that these tariffs on Canada are not only economically disastrous for Ottawa, but also for the United States.
Yesterday, 3 Republicans voted with 214 Democrats to deflect efforts to block the motion. If passed, it would revoke Trump's declaration of a national security emergency used to justify his tariffs on Canada. Trump would have the authority to veto the motion, even if it's also passed by the Senate. But the U.S. Supreme Court is also currently considering the legality of his administration's actions on trade. U.S. authorities have released a man detained as a person of interest in the investigation into Nancy Guthrie's disappearance. The man was arrested in southern Arizona during a traffic stop as police searched for the mother of Today's Show host, Savannah Guthrie. But after several hours in custody, he was released without being charged. The man says he's a delivery driver who works in the area.
I try to clear my name. I didn't do anything. I hope they get the suspect, because I'm not it.
The FBI is asking for the public's help in identifying the person seen in doorbell camera footage. Video released by investigators shows a masked and armed person at the 84-year-old's house the morning she disappeared. And some sad news out of the world of entertainment. Dawson's Creek star James Van Der Beek has died at the age of 48 after a battle with colorectal cancer.
Joy, listen to me. If we are truly meant to be, then we will find our way back to each other. It's as simple as that.
Van Der Beek led a generation along an emotional roller coaster as Dawson Leary, the namesake star of the hit show. He also starred in some movies, including Varsity Blues. Van Der Beek's wife, Kimberly, shared in a post today that the father of 6 had died, adding that he met his final days with courage, faith, and grace. Coming up, a look at where Canadians are going in Italy to cheer on their country at the Winter Olympic Games.
It's warm outside, but we're heading for a freezing frenzy. Thursday on Your Morning, we're at the RCMP Heritage Center to tee up their latest big event. We'll see you then.
Beautiful day in the Queen City with a beautiful end of the day shot of the sunset. Sun starts setting around 6:09 now, so a little couple extra minutes every day of daylight. Temperature currently still sitting above 0 at +2. No wind chill. Winds just under 10 kilometers an hour. As I mentioned earlier, we did warm up to +5 degrees late this afternoon. Had some nice sunshine out there. As you can see on the radar satellite, yeah, we started out the day a little foggy. Saw some fog advisory. Saw some cloud cover. But as we headed into late this afternoon, a lot of that cloud cover lifted, leaving us with mostly clear conditions for at least central southern Saskatchewan. And that that's kind of the story as we head into the rest, well, not the rest of the week. The next couple of, well, I guess the next couple of days is the rest of the week. You know what? Let's just keep going through here. We do have some activity that's going to come through the north where we will see some snow coming through. And as that system comes through, we'll start to see more of this cloud cover return. So the cloud, especially in central, southwestern Saskatchewan, probably won't see as much, but still expecting to see the clouds rolling in and out of Saskatchewan, at least for the next couple of days. We'll see mostly clear conditions by tomorrow late afternoon in most of the province, all the way up into Prince Albert, Lloydminster. And then the clouds return heading into Thursday night, Friday morning. Could see some pockets of snow around the Prince Albert area there. But again, southwest, south central Saskatchewan, looking at mostly clear conditions heading into your Friday. And then by Saturday, that's where we see a change, where we see more cloud cover starting to make its way in. Now, we're still going to see above seasonal temperatures between now into the weekend. It's not until we get into later next week, or I guess earlier next week. And you'll see that in your 7-day forecast. But if we're taking a look at tonight into tomorrow, still looking at above seasonal temperatures. +2 for La Loche and La Ronge, and for Prince Albert, +3 for Lloydminster, 2 for North Battleford tomorrow, mix of sun and cloud. Saskatoon, 1 and a mix of sun and cloud. Yorkton, +2, mix of sun and cloud. And then in the southwest, a little warmer, 9 degrees and a mix of sun and cloud for Maple Creek. Even warm tonight at -4 for the low, also for Swift Current tonight. 8 degrees, a mix of sun and cloud for Swift Current. Moose Jaw, 7 and a mix of sun and cloud. And then in the southeast, 6 degrees all around. Assiniboia, Weyburn, and Estevan all expecting to warm up to +6 tomorrow with a mix of sun and cloud. And Regina, -10 tonight. Very calm winds up to about 15 kilometers an hour. +5 is another expected daytime high today, similar to what we experienced today. And mainly sunny conditions with the winds up to 20 kilometers an hour. Now here's where we see a bit of a change. Enjoy this week and the rest of this weekend that's about to come, because heading into next week, that's where we start to see our temperatures inching back into that seasonal range, and winter-like conditions are expected to return. 5 degrees Thursday, mostly sunny. Friday, 4 degrees and nothing but sunshine. By Saturday, as we saw on the map, cloud cover starting to roll in. +3 is the expected high. By Sunday, mainly sunny, 1 degree. We'll still see the temperatures above 0, but as we head into next week, mainly cloudy on Family Day. There, 0 is the expected high. Winds not too bad, but we will see the winds starting to pick up as we head into Tuesday, Wednesday, and this is where the snow starts. So actually, we could see some scattered flurries, a slight chance of some trace amount of flurries, less than a centimeter on Monday. By Tuesday, expecting anywhere between 1 to 3 centimeters of snow during the day. Heading into the evening, 5 to 10 centimeters of snow is expected. By Wednesday during the day, another 5 to 10 centimeters of snow is expected, with our temperatures dropping back down. Actually, a little cooler than what that average daytime high, usually about -7 is, dropping to -10 for your daytime high. So again, I asked earlier, Lee, did you put your snow shovel away?
No, of course not. But so which day would be worse? The one where we're going to see lots of snow, or the one, because it's a little windier on that first day when we get about 1 to 3 centimeters?
Yeah, well, 1 to 3 centimeters, and that's during the day. And then as we head into the evening, we'll start to see more of that snowfall with the winds up. Depending, I mean, between now and then, we could see some changes with these systems as well, right? But in terms of right now, yeah, visibility both days, when we have the snow falling and the winds picking up even up to 30 kilometers an hour, that's going to affect visibility, especially if you're doing any highway traveling.
All right. Well, you know what? It's February. Let's deal with it. Could be worse. Could be a tornado. It's not. Thanks, Sabine.
Thanks.
An Olympic house is a space that brings together Team Canada athletes, their families, and fans at the Olympic Games. But this year, there's no Canada House. Instead, Canadians in Milan are rallying together to organize their own hangouts and viewing parties. Garrett Berry shows us one of the watch parties in Milan.
A friendly invasion, a sea of red taking over this Milan sports bar and making it, man, I feel like a woman, the unofficial Canada HQ.
This is an amazing place. I've just got a whole new room full of friends here.
What started with a few WhatsApp messages and Facebook callouts has become an act of some international diplomacy on one of the world's biggest stages.
People see my Canadian flag on my lapel, only the best energy that's given back to me. I'm really proud to be Canadian.
The Canadians are filling the chairs.
We have a lot of Olympic tickets, but we wanted to do one, at least have one big Canadian game where we would be with a bunch of Canadians. Canadian fans.
If you see us hanging out here, come on over and say hi. We're making friends, meeting people from all over the country.
They're flipping the channels over to hockey and explaining the rules to everyone around.
I've seen the sport before, but I've never understood it. I've been educated by Jason's, like offensive line and the blue line.
The Italian staff can't seem to get enough.
Love this place, Blues Canal, because we are like to building a place where people can just be themselves, bringing something from their country.
Gabriella told me that her new Canadian customers and friends are always trying to solve problems and really are just nice. Garrett Berry, CTV News, Milan.
Still ahead, Riders VP of Football Operations and GM Jeremy O'Day addresses free agency after losing more than a handful of impactful players. CFL free agency underway, and it's been a tough one for Rider fans, with the team losing 5 starters from last year's Grey Cup game. Riders VP of Football Operations and GM Jeremy O'Day says that losing players was a part of the process, especially when players are so highly coveted, like A.J. Allen, reportedly now the highest paid linebacker in the CFL, signing with Ottawa. And with those players lost, he says they'll look to internal growth among young players.
You know, multiple positions that are battling. The will linebacker obviously will be a new will. You know, Sam will be a new position. You know, we'll probably have another offensive lineman that will be, you know, an open position. So, you know, we focus in on those, but I think one of the keys to us having success last year was, you know, the depth that we had, right? So, and you can see it when, you know, you have so many guys that are signing with other teams.
O'Day said that most of the heavy lifting is done in acquiring new players, and that the focus now shifts to draft preparation and evaluations. And don't forget, some of last year's draft picks will be ready for the pros this year. That includes Husky receiver Daniel Weeb. So lots to look at there. Regina Pats look to snap a 3-game losing streak tonight as they take on the Blades in Saskatoon. Last night, the Pats ran into the buzzsaw known as the Prince Albert Raiders.
Sarkanov's going to drop it back for Christensen. Middle of the point for Cripps now. Back to Christensen. He walks in. Wrist shot. Fires. Scores!
Jonah Silvertson, Justice Christensen each had a goal and an assist. The PA Raiders beat the Pats 5-2. Raiders are 7 points up on Medicine Hat for first place in the conference. As for the Pats, they remain 3 points back of Red Deer for that final playoff spot. They do have 2 games in hand, though.
Ellis going to get on a poke check. They find Jacobson, scores.
While in Moose Jaw, Jackson Jacobson's 18th this season was the game winner, just 50 seconds in overtime as the Brandon Wheat Kings edged the Moose Jaw Warriors 4-3. Moose Jaw is now winless in their last 3. Warriors in 7th place in the conference, 3 points ahead of Red Deer, 6 points ahead of Regina. SJHL, Yorkton Terriers look to extend their 6-game winning streak tonight as they take on the Red Wings in Weyburn. Thanks to 12 wins in the last 15 games, the Terriers have actually jumped the Wings in the standings, 2 points up on them for 4th with a game in hand. However, Weyburn has won 4-5 against the Terriers this season. Game time is 7 o'clock. Whitecap Resource Center is going to be rocking in Weyburn for that one. And a busy day for Canadians at the Milan Cortina Games. A Saskatchewan athlete just missed getting on the podium in women's moguls, while veteran Canadian ice dancers are celebrating a bronze medal. Scott Hurst has more.
A podium finish for Canadian ice dancers Piper Gillis and Paul Poirier, their first Olympic medal.
They've been working really hard. They're an amazing pair together. They've been together for about 15 years now.
The 3-time Olympians were in 3rd after the rhythm dance. They put down a score of 131.56 in the free dance for a combined total of 217.74, and that secured them the bronze medal. Reigning Olympic silver medalist in the men's speed skating 1,000-meter, Laurent Dubreuil, was one of 3 Canadians racing for a medal in the event at Milano Cortina. Dubreuil, however, failed to reach the podium this time around, finishing 8th overall. A thrilling finish in the women's freestyle moguls event. Saskatchewan's Maya Schwinghammer reaching the top 8 medal round, putting down a final run score of 77.61. She was just off the podium, however, 5th in her first Olympic Games. Another Olympic final is booked for Elizabeth Hosking in snowboard halfpipe. The Quebec athlete in her 3rd Olympic Games was 8th in qualifying today. The 12-rider final takes place on Thursday. 4 Canadians were taking part in the men's Super G. Jack Crawford, the top athlete wearing the maple leaf, placing 16th in the alpine skiing event, about a second and a half behind the winner. Medals were on the line in biathlon. The top Canadian was 23-year-old Calgarian Pascal Parody, finishing in 24th place. 4-player curling is now underway. Team Brad Jacobs opening up their Milano Cortina experience with a win over Germany. Men's hockey is now officially underway. Canada's first game is tomorrow against Czechia. The women will wrap up their preliminary round in a game tomorrow as well against Finland. Scott Hurst, CTV News, Toronto.
Still ahead, we get reaction on the elimination of the federal EV mandate.
Let's take a look at your rural forecast for tomorrow. More sunshine expected. Temperatures continuing to be above average, but especially above zero for many parts, including all of the areas we're seeing on the map right now. 4 degrees for Outlook and Kindersley, mix of sun and cloud. 3 for Lloydminster and Meadow Lake. 2 for Spiritwood and Hudson Bay. And 1 degree for Melfort, Watrous, Wynyard. All seeing a mix of sun and cloud throughout the day tomorrow. And then closer to the southern border, some warmer temperatures. Coronach, 8 degrees, mainly sunny. 9 for Maple Creek, a mix of sun and cloud. 6 for Rockland, Assiniboia and Leader. 4 for Rosetown, East End Cypress. 3 for Broadview. 5 for Lumsden, Pilot Butte. And Kenora, 1 degree with Carlisle, expecting a daytime high of 2 degrees with a mix of sun and cloud. If we take a closer look at Big River tomorrow, where internet speeds up to 1 gig are available through SaskTel. +3 and mainly sunny is the expected conditions and daytime high tomorrow. A wind chill of 0 is expected throughout the day, and then into the evening dropping to about -8 with a wind chill of -12.
The federal government is shifting gears on its electric vehicle strategy, eliminating the mandate but adding a rebate for those who purchase one. Stacey Hine has more on the reaction here in Saskatchewan.
The federal government is hitting the brakes on Canada's mandate requiring all new vehicle sales to be electric by 2035. Making the announcement last week, Prime Minister Mark Carney says instead, Ottawa is rolling out tougher emission standards. The Saskatchewan Automobile Dealers Association says it welcomes the move.
From an industry perspective, we're thrilled with the idea of eliminating the mandates. It's something we've been lobbying for since their inception.
Tyler Krause, a member of Sask EV, says the new plan won't be as effective as the previous mandate.
I think it's less stringent, and I think it's going to be a little bit easier on the auto manufacturers, where I think they really need to crack down on the manufacturers to encourage them aggressively to move towards electric vehicles.
But Krause says Ottawa's new incentive program, with rebates of up to $5,000 for EVs and $2,500 for plug-in hybrids, could still make a difference.
It's still going to incentivize and encourage people in Canada to adopt the EV and ditch the gas car. So I think it'll be effective.
The Dealers Association also supports the rebates.
It's going to help drive that type of EV sales. Now, maybe not completely electric vehicles in our marketplace.
To qualify for the rebate, vehicles must cost under $50,000 and be built in a free trade partner country. There's no price cap for Canadian-made EVs. The rebates are highest this year and scale back annually until the program ends after 2030. The federal government is also putting $1.5 billion towards building more charging stations across the country.
I think we definitely need more charging stations in Saskatchewan. We're still missing a lot of support in those rural communities.
SGI data shows nearly 3,000 fully electric vehicles were registered last year, more than 4 times the number in 2021, signaling growing demand in Saskatchewan. Stacey Hine, CTV News, Saskatoon.
A new poll finds a quarter of Canadians say they have been victims of fraud or extortion. The survey conducted by Legier found the most common forms of fraud are credit card and bank fraud. 52% of respondents say they have been targeted by those kinds of scams. Other people's scams include phishing, fake websites, or phone and text scams. Ottawa has given Canada Post another $1 billion loan, but the federal procurement minister says the handouts are not a permanent solution. Ottawa's latest repayable loan comes in addition to similar loan that they had in January of last year. Procurement Minister Joel Lightbound says it's essential to ensure the Postal Service has the revenue it needs, but he also says Canada Post needs to transform itself, as Ottawa cannot continue to support the Crown Corporation to this current degree. All right, farm markets. Canola street price is up $1.60 to $615, 43 cents per ton, while the futures price is down $3.60 to $662.70 per ton. Amber Durum wheat stays the same, $278.59 per ton. Red spring wheat's up $1.23 to $255.15 per ton. Feed barley stays the same, $232.01 per ton, while flax is $650.54 per ton. Those prices courtesy of Bunge. The market's on the way down. The TSX, 2 points. Not a lot. Dow Jones also dropped a little by 66 points. Canadian dollar, it followed in that trend, down 1/10 of a cent to 73.68 cents US. On the commodity front, gold up $58.93. West Texas Intermediate crude, things back to normal there. Only up 67 cents, and Western Canadian Select crude is down 51 cents, $48.18 a barrel. Right now in Regina, gas has not moved. It's sitting at $1.27.9 cents per liter.
Shopify reported its highest quarterly revenue ever of $3.7 billion US. That's up 31% from the same quarter in 2024. Still, investors weren't too impressed because the Canadian company did miss on another metric. The stock was down over 6% by the end of the trading day. Shopify is an e-commerce company. Sales are up almost 7% at McDonald's in the U.S. The fast food company reported $7 billion U.S. in revenue for its latest quarter. Value meals, some priced at only $5, have improved restaurant traffic. And the fast food chain also brought back its monopoly game. Cineplex reported quarterly profit of $370,000, but it's a far cry from the $3.3 million it made in the same quarter a year before. Cineplex has struggled to bring moviegoers into theaters at the end of last year. Attendance was down by 1 million visits. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
Coming up tonight after the newscast, we have The Masked Singer for an hour, followed by Fear Factor, House of Fear, Shark Tank at 9 o'clock, Shifting Gears at 10. Then we'll shift gears into E-Talk and news.
Okay.
Which admittedly has been a tough news day today. From a dramatic actor to a comedy legend, Leslie Nielsen, one of the best, born 100 years ago today in Saskatchewan.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
We can all quote that. Nielsen was born in Regina on February 11th, 1926, and was raised in the Northwest Territories, where his father was posted as an RCMP officer. He died in 2010, but his legacy lives on through his legendary filmography, from Airplane to the recently rebooted Naked Gun franchise.
Besides, I haven't touched any kind of plane in 6 years.
Classics. Well, it's not something you see often, if ever. It was caught on camera in Colorado.
So police cameras spotted this man on his unicycle, as you do, juggling flaming clubs in broad daylight, hoping for maybe some cash from drivers spotted at an intersection.
What?
Not only did he put on a memorable show, he also wrapped up in time for the green light, because drivers got to get places.
We probably should have prefaced this with, don't try this anywhere.
I mean, I didn't think we'd have to.
Well, maybe. I mean, if he did it.
Well, that's because he's obviously got a talent. Do you have any, like, hidden talents or talents?
No.
Well, that's boring.